Hello everyone, this is Lily Chilton. Welcome to our webcast. Today's topic is IRS alerts in relation to virtual currency owners' non-filing consequences. We will be uploading a copy of this webcast on our YouTube channel by tomorrow, August 6th. Please, also we have a website. We invite you to subscribe to our video and news blog. Our contact information will be provided to you at the end of this webcast. So let's begin. So last month, IRS actually sent out letters in relation to the non-filing consequences of active crypto taxpayers for trading. So the IRS letter confirms that trading cryptos is a taxable event. Section 1031 of the IRS Code, before the new tax law went into effect in 2018, could have been and was by some interpreted to allow for an exchange of one digital currency for another, like buying Ether for or with Bitcoin as tax deferred. There has been much debate about this among accountants and tax attorneys, with valid arguments on both sides. Because if you know 1031, if you exchange properties by the same type of property, then that is a tax deferred transaction. You're not going to get taxed until you dispose until you dispose that asset. But it's a different rule now. So guys, I know that there's a lot of arguments. I know that you may not agree. However, in the meantime, until everything is finalized, let us be compliant with the rules. This non-compliant is this has criminal consequences, legal consequences. So I suggest for everybody to please pay attention to your compliance requirements. Work closely with your tax experts, either accountant, practitioners, or legal consultants. So the Internal Revenue Service has begun sending letters to taxpayers with virtual currency transactions that potentially failed to report income and pay the resulting tax from virtual currency transactions, or did not report this transaction properly. So they actually sent out this. They started sending out letters early in July. By the end of August, about 10,000 letters would have been sent out. So the taxpayers should take these letters very seriously by reviewing their tax filings, and when appropriate, amend past returns, pay back taxes, interest, and penalties. This is most of this you're going to see on 6173. They're going to give you options on what to do for the delinquencies. IRS warned as well that it has stepped up enforcement in this area, including criminal prosecutions. This is the main reason why it's taking them a long time to provide guidance. They wanted to make sure that, hey, if they're going to go after you for criminal prosecution, they know what they're doing. So let's see. For us, right, as I mentioned, they actually sent out 61, 73, 74, and 74A. These letters, they actually send these out to strive for they call it educational letter, because they're basically telling you what to do, how to do this, why you are delinquent, and all that 9 yards. So actually last year they started the virtual currency compliance campaign to address tax non-compliance related to the use of virtual currency through outreach and examinations of taxpayers. Let me see. They actually started that tax compliance campaign, and they actually have a few programs to where they do webinars for taxpayers, so they can understand what their obligations are in what the criminal tax implications are in relation to this. So taxpayers who do not properly report the income tax consequences of virtual currency transactions are, when appropriate, liable for tax penalties and interest. In some cases, taxpayers could be subject to criminal prosecution. So you really have to work with your tax practitioner about this. Okay? So this is, as mentioned earlier, this is the main reason why it's taking them a long time to provide guidance, because they wanted to make sure that if and when they file criminal prosecution, if and when they decide to file criminal case against you because of non-compliance, they wanted to make sure that, hey, they have a case to hold on to. They have a tight case that they are sure to win. So, what's the difference between IRS Letter 6173, 74, and 74A? IRS Letter 6173 requests a signed response from the taxpayer in regard to alleged non-compliance. 6174 simply asks the taxpayer to review their past returns and, if necessary, file an amendment. 6174A notifies the taxpayer that there is a potential misreporting concerning cryptocurrency transactions, and the IRS may enforce criminal prosecution. So this is what 6173 looks like. So it's very important for you to know. It says, why we're writing to you. We have information that you have or had once or more accounts containing virtual currency and may not have met your U.S. tax filing and reporting requirements for transactions involving virtual currency, which includes cryptocurrency and non-crypto virtual currencies. So this is very important. They're basically telling you, hey, we have information that you have not met your information filing obligations. So you know why? For you to be able to know what they have, I suggest for you to get your IRS transcript and then compare your records, your income tax return, the return that you filed with them, or the return that you did not file. So if you did not file, get the IRS transcript first and then file, reporting all of the transactions that or what you call this, matching your transcript that IRS has on you. They are sending you this because you did not report something that they have a record on you. Okay, so that's what that is. And then let's see, I suggest for you to, for one or more of the tax years 2013 to 2017, I suggest that you, when you get your transcript, include your 2018 on it. So start from 2013 to 2018 and then match and then file if there's some missing transactions. So you have options here. What you need to do by the respond by date. The respond by date is very important. This is page 1, this is page 2. Respond by date. It says, if we don't hear from you by the respond date, we may refer your tax account for examination. Examination mean you're going to get audited. So now what you need to do by the respond by date above, if you fail to file one or more income tax returns, file the delinquent returns and report your virtual currency transactions as soon as possible. They're basically telling you what to do. Just make sure that you have a copy of your transcript so you know what they see. If you made a mistake on your income tax, this is option 2. If you made a mistake on your income tax return, such as not reporting your virtual currency transactions or incorrectly calculating your income gain or loss, you can file an amendment. Okay, so option 2, amend your return. Before I forget, on page 2, right? So these are the 3 options that you gotta do. On page 2, you have this signature page right here. You gotta sign this and then date it. But never ever sign anything that has criminal implications without getting an expert advice from somebody. Get an expert advice from a tax practitioner or a tax lawyer. Okay, never ever do anything like this without them, because then you have an extra protection, that so you will be represented. Okay, so if you fail to file the return with all of the applicable forms, attach this page 2 and then send to them. If you made a mistake, or if you made a mistake, amend your return, attach the form that needs to get attached, attach a copy of the signature page, and then send to them. Now, option 3. If you believe you followed all tax and information reporting requirements relating to your virtual currency accounts, okay, there are 2 things they gotta do. Actually, just one. A statement of facts explaining your position, include the complete history, meaning you have to put a bullet points. If they say that, hey, you're supposed to file Form 8949, Schedule C, Schedule D, Schedule E, but you did not, then you gotta put a bullet points why you feel or think that you're not supposed to file that. Okay? And then this, attach a copy of page 2, the signature page, and then send it to them. Okay, so this is letter 6173. Letter 6174 simply asks the taxpayer to review their past returns and, if necessary, file an amendment. So this is what it looks like. Why we're writing to you, they're basically telling you, okay, we have this information, blah blah blah, information. Like I said, they have something on your transcript that is not on your income tax return. So basically, you gotta review your tax return, and then you gotta review your tax return. If you believe that everything is good, 6174, you're not required to respond. Okay, you're not required to respond. But if you're getting this letter 6174, it is still safer if you compare your IRS transcript against your income tax return, because you would have never received this unless they see something on your income tax on your transcript that is not on your income tax return. It is still safer for you to compare them and then amend your tax return if it's required, attach the Schedule C, D, or E, and that way, like I said, there's criminal implications to non-compliance, so it is always safest to double triple check everything. So on here, they actually provided guidance. Common schedules for reporting virtual currency transactions include the following. Schedule C. If you were an independent contractor and received payment in virtual currency, you must report it in gross income for the amount of the virtual currency's fair market value, measured in US dollars as of the date and time you received the virtual currency. Usually you will not see date and time, but since cryptocurrency trading since Bitcoin is volatile, the price of it is very volatile, you have to actually make sure that you have the fair market value of your virtual currency at the date and time of the transaction. So if you're an independent contractor, you got paid in virtual currency, claim that using the fair market value of that transaction, okay, of that asset. And then Schedule D, if you sold, exchanged, or disposed of virtual currency, or used it to pay for goods or services, you have engaged in reportable transaction. Okay, Schedule D is the sale and disposition of assets. So if you used an asset to exchange, disposed, or sold your virtual currency, then you use the Schedule D. Now, Schedule E, if you received supplemental income in the form of virtual currency, including income from rental real estate, royalties, partnerships, S corporations, estates, trusts, and residual interest in remix, you may need to report this on Schedule A. Your tax practitioner should be able to help you out with this, so they should know what to do on this. Since we tax practitioners are required to be updated with the rules, tax laws, as they come out. Okay, so 6174A, IRS 6174A notifies the taxpayer that there is potential misreporting concerning cryptocurrency transactions, and the IRS may enforce criminal prosecution. So, with, let me see, with 6174 and 6174A, this is basically, let me see, how do I explain this? If you filed your return and you intentionally did not report your trading transactions, your cryptocurrency transactions, 6174A is basically a reminder, hey, you know what? We have this information on you. We can actually prove it that we have this information on you. You really need to review your income tax return and match it against your transcript in order for you to be tax compliant. 6174A, if you still haven't submitted or if you still haven't responded to IRS using this, the next step will be criminal. The next step will be IRS will file a suit against you. So you may also need to file supplemental forms 8582, passive activity loss limitation. So C, D, and E, 6174 and 6174A, they're basically the same except for the reminder that, hey, you know what you gotta do? You really gotta file, or you really got to comply with your obligations to file your information return. Okay, so 6174, if you have any additional information or for questions, clarifications, or suggestions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Visit us at www.cpa-consultants.com, info@cpa-consultants.com, and you can also call us 310-800-1932. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for joining us. We love you very much. We appreciate your presence for this webcast, and we look forward to have you again for our future webinars. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.